I wanted to jump on today and talk about something that's been kind of weighing on my mind. And usually when I share topics with you, it typically is related to things that I'm going through, things in my life, things that are going on with my clients, of course, always confidential, my business clients. But I wanted to get on and talk to you a little bit about the word regret. God, it's such a powerful word. Even saying it kind of gets me thinking, oh my goodness. I think more than anything, what I wanted to get on today and say is this. I am definitely living out of my comfort zone on a daily basis. I am at a point where pitter patters, butterflies, my heart beating out of my chest has become pretty much my norm. At this point, I've just accepted this is the path that I've chosen or that's been chosen for me, whatever you believe in. And yeah, the other day I was on the phone with my son. My oldest is in college. He's graduating in June. And he and I were talking about life because I'm just so blessed to have a son that calls me to talk to me about life. And we were sharing stories. And he said something like, I'm just going to make a decision about something. And I said, why don't you instead not choose to make a decision and see how it plays out? And why did I say that? It's so interesting to me. I also continued to say to him, if you would have told me that today my life would be the way it is in all aspects of my life 7 years ago, I would have told you were crazy. I would have told you needed to go get medication or see a psychiatrist. If you would have told me 7 years ago that I would be divorced, that I would have moved out of the home that I lived in, that I would have started a new business, that I would be doing interviews on TV, writing published articles, speaking on stage, helping and mentoring women in business, getting women ready for the stage to speak, I would have told you were crazy. I don't know how else to say it, but I would have said you were nuts. So there's a part of me that recognizes at this point that the way that I got here is probably by just letting go a little bit and what I call rolling with it. It took me a lot of years to understand that concept. I was a control freak. I didn't even know I was a control freak, and I was a control freak. And it wasn't the kind of control freak that needed to micromanage everything and in the sense that it was verbal, it was probably more subconscious. Excuse me. I think for me, I always needed to have plans, and I always needed to know where I was going next. And I always needed to know a lot of things. My life really started when I started mixing things up and doing things that were so not expected of me. I was the girl that always wanted to be behind the scenes. I was the girl that always wanted to watch everybody else shine. I dimmed my light for years because every time I shone my light brighter, others wouldn't react in a positive way. And I think for me, what I've learned more than anything in the last over 7 years, and I just got off an interview. I interview a woman every week that's an entrepreneur. And if you're interested in seeing the interviews, it's on my YouTube channel, Galit Ventura-Rozen. But I think what stemmed me to talk about this was that I interviewed her and I realized that the way that life really starts for me, or started for me, and don't get me wrong, I had an amazing life before the last 7 years, but where I really, really embraced who I am is when I stopped trying to live in a box. And she used the word box. It was so brilliant. Her name is Michelle Evans, if you want to look her up. She said, I burnt the boxes. For me, my explanation of what happened to me was I lived in a bubble, and there was nothing wrong with my bubble. And then somebody came along and burst it with a safety pin. Someone, something, you can say whatever you want as an analogy. And at that moment, my rose-colored glasses were gone. And I had to see my life my decisions and my world for what it was. And that isn't easy. I sometimes want to still go back to the bubble, but I'm living the most genuine, authentic me life I can today. And by the way, that doesn't mean it's always easy. So what I want to share with you regarding regret is this. Don't regret the decisions you've made in your past. Accept them and embrace them. Recognize that all of those decisions you've made have led you up to the path that you're on today, have led you to where you are today. We are all human and we all make mistakes. It's just part of growing. If there's anywhere in my world that I think I'm not going to make mistakes, I'm dreaming. I'm living back in that bubble. I make mistakes every single day. And I wake up and I think I regret. I regret it. That's my thought. What I've learned to do is stop regretting things. What I've learned to do is live every day the way that I choose to live it, out of the box, out of the bubble. And I want you to try to think about that for a second. The next time you wake up in the morning or go to bed at night and regret something, and don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to not recognize your mistakes, not embrace the things that you've done. That's important for growth. But stop regretting it. So the first thing I want to share with you is stop regretting the decisions you've made and the mistakes you've made in the past. We tend to hold on to them, and that does not serve us or help us at all. Then be careful not to pass up decisions or things you can make today that you're going to regret tomorrow because of fear, because of the uncomfortable, because of somebody else, meaning their image of you, what they're telling you you should do, what the box says. There's something amazing when you start living in a world within yourself where you stop allowing the idea of regretting the things you've done in the past and are cautious not to make the wrong decision today so you regret it tomorrow. Because there's a place where you can choose to avoid regret. But if you do make a decision today that you tomorrow choose to regret, don't accept. One of the books I really want to write is called Accept It or Change It, and that's probably not going to be the title. But we spend so much time regretting things. What if instead we chose to accept what it was or to change it? Wouldn't that be amazing? It would be the most amazing thing ever. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think today. I woke up this morning with regret about a decision I made yesterday. And then I said, what are you doing? And I do talk to myself a lot. I try not to do it in public. What are you doing? You made a decision yesterday, and there's a reason you made that decision. So follow through and stop regretting it. Why do I regret it? So ask myself, why? Fear. Get over yourself. Yes, I talk to myself like that. It's amazing. So today I've chosen to forgive myself and not allow myself to feel regret about a decision I made yesterday. Instead, I'm going to follow it through. I'm going to see what happens. Because it could be the best decision I've ever made in my life, and it could not be. But I'm going to find out, right? And it's nothing life-threatening. It's nothing that I have to worry about in that sense. I'm not talking about life-threatening things. I'm talking about life-changing things. But it's also possible I might come out of this decision feeling like I'm so thankful I made it. So today, walk through life and try to forgive yourself for the things you've done in the past instead of regret them, and try to accept the decisions you've made today so you don't regret them tomorrow, and look at the decisions you're choosing not to make because of fear so you don't regret tomorrow that you passed it up. So thank you for listening. You guys are awesome. Have a wonderful day.